Call this meeting to order. I see no one downstairs waiting to come up to speak. Apparently there'll be no citizens' comment. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes from the previous meeting?
Yes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
All in favor? Opposed? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. I mean, minutes accepted. Correspondence. I had a conference call with the Mineral County Health Department on Monday, and they had an update on the confirmed cases in the area. In Mineral County, we have 5. Hampshire has 5. Grant 1. Hardy 2. Berkeley 100. Jefferson in the mid-50s. Morris between 5 and 10. Allegheny has 17, and Garrett County has 4. They're having a drive-through testing at Potomac Valley Hospital, and they ask everybody to please stay safe, social distance, and stay at home again if you can. We received a letter from the EDA. I am pleased to inform you that the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration has approved your application for the $1,576,520 investment to support the emergency water project for business continuity in Piedmont, West Virginia. The total project cost is estimated to be $1,970,650 and is funded through EDA's Economic Adjustment Assistance Program authorized by the Public Works and Economic Development Act of 1965 as amended. Please do not make any commitments in reliance on this award until you have carefully reviewed and accepted the terms and conditions. Any commitments entered into prior to obtaining the approval of EDA in accordance with its regulations and requirements will be at your own risk. EDA's mission is to lead the federal economic development agenda by promoting innovation and competitiveness, preparing American regions for growth and success in the worldwide economy. EDA implements this mission by making strategic investments in the nation's most economically distressed communities that encourage private sector collaboration and creation of higher skill, higher wage jobs. EDA investments are results driven, embracing the principles of technological innovation and entrepreneurship and regional development. That was in the paper that it was awarded to the city of Piedmont. I believe that's all I have. Anybody else have any correspondence? Officers' reports. Paul?
You want to go first? You want to go
I usually do mine down on the water and sewer. Is this going to be a little lengthier than most?
Okay. Why don't you come back to me for it?
Well, Parks and Recs, there's really not a whole lot going on, because everybody's stuck inside. One thing I would like to bring to the attention of everyone is apparently people were under the impression that the public park is also a public toilet for their dog.
Yes.
And there are, I'm back there every night. I have a dog, I have a big dog. I pick up after him. And if you're going to be responsible pet owner in town, that's what you need to do, but it's getting a little bit beyond ridiculous back there. I haven't seen any dog trying to loose, so people apparently are just walking them back there like I do, only I clean up, but they're not cleaning up. And when the kids get back and are able to go out and play, I'm sure they don't want to be skidding through dog feces. Which right now would be pretty easy to do. So I don't know how we need to get the word out to that. Shouldn't have to teach responsibility, but apparently we do.
I can put it in the newsletter.
Okay. Other than that, it just, as soon as I get time and maybe I get together and get the grounds cleaned up a little bit and cut, I'm happy to weed eat. I'm a monster with
Well,
weed eat.
we're getting into cutting now because it's this time of year. So.
Yeah.
But I do have a question
Yes.
about the park. So we put up caution tape all around. Remember how we talked about?
Mhm.
They tore it down. I don't know who it was, and I'd say it was probably some teens. I don't see little kids doing that. Went back and put up another strand. They tore it down. How many, do we put more up? I mean,
Well, that's the same thing that happens at the Felstein building. We had that barreled off and taped off so people don't walk on that part of Third Street, and people keep tearing it down. There's only so many times you can put it up.
yeah, I mean, I feel
We're
like.
putting it up at scene that we put it up, but
Right,
if they keep tearing it down, we can't.
yeah, it's wasting the tape and stuff, you know what I
Like I
mean?
said, the barrels are still there on Third Street showing not to walk there, but they keep tearing the tape down, so not much more we can do.
Man,
I just stop it. Other than that, that's all I have for it, no problem.
can we get one of them signs for the dogs? I get one of them, you know what I mean? There's like signs with the picture of like the dog and no, you know, or where it tells you to clean up after your dog.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, get a couple of them.
Alright,
Don't we have cameras back to the garage too? I mean, I don't know what their angle range is or anything like that, but
we do have them back there, yeah. Yeah.
do they hit the park?
They used to, but after the winter, when the snow sits on them,
Mhm.
I'll have to go in and look at them, but I think the one, because I went in there the other day to look at something, and it's like, from the weight of the snow, it's like angled down, but we can fix them.
Okay. That might be a help.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then I'll put it in the newsletter that the cameras are on the park,
Okay.
and I'll put about cleaning up after your dog.
Hey, Ron, I'd like to add something to that, just to make you aware of it, and Eric aware of it. I was walking back there one day, and there's some drug paraphernalia back there
Really?
and in the grass.
Like
So,
needles or?
needles, yes.
Which part?
Back towards the wall,
Where the pavilion
where the
is.
pavilion is, back that way. I didn't walk the rest of it, but I was getting some measurements back there, and I just happened to notice it.
Okay,
But just be aware,
okay.
and, you know, I don't know who or how. What it would take to get that removed. I called the health department about it, and they put it back on us, that it's our problem, that was something that we have to deal with, and so I don't know.
Is it still down there, you know?
Well, I haven't been down there in weeks, so
Yeah.
I don't know, but last time I was down there, I'm sure it probably is. I don't know who would've picked it up, but
I'll kind of stress in the newsletter that the park is being
yes.
monitored.
It might not hurt the Robbie to take a swing back through there,
Yeah,
to just sit back there. Okay.
okay. Susie?
I don't have a whole lot, I'm still waiting to hear back from, the group that's gonna help us get our ordinances in line, which might take a while to get back from them. As far as Home Fest goes, I'm still gonna plan for it. We might have to cancel it, but at least we'll have it going. I don't have anything else now.
Eric?
All I got really is, business as usual. We're the time of year where we're gonna start cutting grass. Everything's going good with the water plant. You and I were handling the Bobcat, we'll talk about that later. That's really all I got now.
When you say you're gonna start draining the water?
Yeah, well, we were gonna do it today, but they're cutting grass, so I think we'll do it by the end of the week for sure. But yeah, that's another big thing that's coming up within the next couple of days. But yeah, that's all we got, that's all I got.
Okay. So Sheriff.
You want to answer that?
Me?
Yeah, back to you.
I want to pass it around to everybody. This is the business that the city has done since our last meeting. All the checks and the transfers and everything that have been done, and so I'll pass those around. This is on the 3 major accounts that we have. And I want to go ahead and give a balance before I pass it around of what the city does have. This is on the water. We have $4,308.40. And our sewer account, $5,554.65. That's the balance. And as you know, that changes. It's like this. Bills are paid, money comes in. And our general account currently have $28.73 and 52 cents. That's a balance of our three major accounts. Anybody wants anything more in detail, you're welcome to come and take a look at the finances of the city. It's all open and it's all open to the public. So you can come, and I'm sure Carrie will sit down with you and explain the business of the city to you. So let me pass these around, and you can take a look at those. Any questions, ask Carrie, she's the expert. And while you're looking at that, I want to you know the projects that we're trying to work on, which is the stage, and I want to give everybody a copy of this. So you got a copy in hand. We currently have gotten 2 estimates, and I want to make sure that both of these estimates get the proper time and the proper exposure. So I will pass these around as well, and you can look at those. I know I did that a little bit in the last meeting, but I'm going to do it again. So we're all on the same page. There's no question. I'll give you a price the last meeting. Both prices. That hasn't changed, still the same. Susan. The reason I'm passing those around again, we have limited resources here in the city, so funding something like that, we'll have to do it by donations unless the sky opens and money falls down. So what my thoughts have been and what I've been pursuing is I put together a committee, and I'm calling that the Piedmont Improvement Committee. I've already talked to the Ethics Commission to make sure about donations and what the laws state on that. I'm going to pass this around to you as well. I've already started this committee, and I've already got some members, and and the purpose for this committee is to pursue these projects like this, like the stage and any other projects. And I have several in my head that I think would be beneficial to the town of Piedmont. So that's what this committee is for, just a committee of citizens in this town that are interested. I don't want any grumblers and gripers. That's not what I'm interested in. I want people, and I'm asking for volunteers. If you want to volunteer, you want to be a part, but I'm not going to be fussing and fighting and going through all that. It's to improve the city of Piedmont. That's the only reason I'm here. That's the purpose. So, I'm going to pass these around as well. I put this letter out to the current members so far, and you can see I want everybody, nobody's in the dark, you can see where we're heading, what I'm trying to accomplish. If you disagree, let me know.
You could probably put in for a Reeves grant.
Well, yes. Yeah.
When you have something like that to show them and put a estimate
You
in
can do the
on.
link for it, too, but it's a brick and stone
Yeah,
project.
Winfield, yeah,
You
you
can
could
take a look and you can read that.
Winfield, Reeves, you can get up to $5,000. You can ask for up to $5,000.
Right. We would still have to raise money.
Yeah.
You see that's on there as well. But I gave this to, like I say, some of the members that have already stepped up and said they wanted to be a part. You'd be surprised at the number of people so far. stage, I think it would be a tremendous benefit to the town. I really do. You know, we need something positive. You know it, and I know it. So I think this would be something positive. Somebody's got a better idea, come forth and let me know. But I think it would be tremendous back there and tremendous for the town. So, if anybody's got any questions on the stage or what I passed out, you can let me know now or let me know later. I just want you to see where we're at. And I'm not sitting still on this stage. I'm pursuing it. I think it's something good. And I'm going to continue to pursue it. So.
Fred Price came to me yesterday. He has built some planners. He wants to put one, God bless him, on the corner of the library where the state put that cluster. It's going to be a two-tier one. You can put flowers in the bottom and then a hanging plant on top. It'll kind of take away from that area. And he says he's having 3 more put throughout the town.
There's people stepping up and volunteering, they see the need in the town. That's the way I look at it. That's all I got for right now.
All right, Fred.
Okay, before I get into the water part, I would like to respond, if it's okay with Paula, on the concerns from the last meeting, because we tried to follow up and address some of them, and I think Carrie's taking care of some and addressing the police cruisers, and as far as eliminating some of that cost, which I think is a great deal. The other part is the concern about the 6 o'clock meeting. And I can only speak on my part. I attended meetings before we went to noon. Didn't really have to knock too many people out of the way to get to them. And I guess my concern is, unfortunately, I'm not shy, people know that I'm not a social media person, it can be a two-edged sword. Because from talking to people in town about where we're at with the meetings, it's exactly that. Some people can come at noon, some people can't. They like the social media end of it because it does get to people who can't go to meetings, and that's great. It's also keeping people away because they know they don't have to come. So it's a two-edged sword. I've enjoyed having the majority of the council here. I didn't have that as much when it was 6 o'clock, mostly because people's work schedules. So I think we continue to monitor that and see and listen to what the people got to say. But I'm satisfied with where we're at. All right, as far as the water, just to catch everybody up, I believe we finalized, we talked to Justin Callahan with the Army Corps of Engineers, who was looking to give us an estimate. Actually, what an estimate. It was to do a feasibility study on the Piedmont Dam. They had $450,000 available to do that. But before that could take place, we had to put up $150,000 cash. We can't do that. And at the end of it, as of right now, and I can't imagine this is going to get any better, there's no guarantee of money in 2021 to do whatever they say we can do. So, as I've said before, we got 2 issues. We got a short-term water problem. We got a long-term water problem. First of all, as far as the water goes, we received the interim rates for the town of Piedmont, I believe starting on the next billing cycle, is what the paper said. When we had the public hearing here, the public meeting here, there was one young lady who wanted to know what her bill was going to be. Currently, right now, with the increases, and I can only speak on the minimum bill because everyone else is going to vary, the bill is going to go up $8.08 a month. It's about a 13.8% increase. That's true, and I found 2 dates, one in August, one in September. So that's going to take place regardless, and I think what the people need to understand is that has nothing to do with where we get water from. If we get it from the Piedmont Dam, the Savage Dam, if we bucket it up ourselves or get it from Westernport, that's what the bill is going to be for our residents. So that don't even come into play with the water part, except for the fact of doing a financial analysis of, okay, what can we afford and what we can't afford. Short-term problem, raw water. We've talked to Verso, we've talked to Westernport about a temporary fix, because in 94 days, Verso intent is to shut our water off. Now, will somebody step in and make them turn it, leave it on? I can't tell you that, because July 18th, they want their mill completely black. They're shutting their power off. Verso is in financial problems. They're losing orders because of the pandemic. So they're trying to shut it down 100% completely. Will somebody step in? Possibly. I can't assume that as a guarantee, and I'm pretty sure I won't like the price if they make them keep it open. So I have to move forward as if July 18th we got to have an alternate water source. The Verso is still utilizing an engineering firm for a pump system to be put at their intake where their current system is. They will help fund a lot of that, but here's their two points that they want to make mandatory. One, we got to secure all permits to pull out of the river. And secondly, we have to take ownership of the low water dam in the Potomac River. I want no parts of that. That is a massive liability waiting to happen. Currently, they have the ability to keep that dam cleared off the mill as long as they got high pressure water. That water is going to be shut down. Going that route for the new pump station, we need a new permit, which we will not get in 90 days. I've talked to John Grace with the state of Maryland. Of course, the ownership of the dam, which I want no parts of. When the river runs high, it would be our responsibility to keep the screens clean on the intake. That is going to instill overtime, because when the river comes up, they man that around the clock cleaning it off. Of course, we would have the electric bill of the pump and the treatment of the water. Verso will pay at least a part of the cost of installing that pump and piping. At one time they said 100%, but I'm not sure that's where they're at now. I am waiting on a response from Verso as to whether the ownership of the dam is a deal breaker. I've talked to the state of West Virginia. They have no interest in taking over that dam. The other was a tie-in to Westernport's raw water line. Westernport was adamant that was not a possibility up until 2 weeks ago. They come back and give us a price of water for hooking up to it. The problem we run into, they believed they wanted us to hook up across from Old Sliders gas station where there's already a tap. That would entail getting permits to go under Route 135 and underneath the railroad tracks to tie into our line. It's not going to happen in 90 days. Our intent was, if you go to the mill property on the filter plant turn, the Westernport line and the Piedmont line are 12 feet apart. All you'd have to do is put a jumper in. We have to install a flow meter and a PRV valve, which I believe I can get funding for. Called the state of Maryland, asked if we would work off of that current permit that they have with the mill. They said it has to be modified. Let Glenn Gilbert know that from Verso, who contacted Westernport about modifying the agreement. At this time, they have no interest in that. I continue to pursue that as an option because I'll be honest with you, and I've told them I don't understand what their issue is. we would take raw water off their line before they get it. They would have no cost of anything at their plant. And with what they charged us, we would have to pay that to Westernport. That's all income. It makes no sense to me. They will not do it long term. They've already made it adamantly clear they will not do that long term. But I do think it's feasible, and I'm going to continue to pursue that. If they have flat out tell us no, we're going to have to look into running temporary lines, but even with temporary lines, I got to have a source, and they're not going to let me pull out of the Potomac River right now. So we are going to continue to do that. That job is a one-day job. They can dig it up and hook that line up in one day. So I'll continue to stay in contact with Mayor Legg over at Westernport. She is going back and they're going to run some numbers. For that period of time, we'd still have to treat the water. And that's fine, we still have the capability to do that. So that's short term where we're at. Potable water. And I think people got to understand, because I can tell you right now, I wasn't 100% understanding myself. When they announced the $1.5 million, I got kind of excited. I thought we got another 1.5. That is the 1.5 that's in the 1.9. So we got no more money than what we was expecting. Talking to Region 8 and the IJDC, that money can only be used on the Westernport project, which means they back us in a corner. We continue to look at the numbers. We looked at the contract that Westernport recently signed with Luke. If that contract is offered to Piedmont, and my understanding it will be, Westernport, Piedmont, and Luke, all in-town residents, will be charged the same for the water end of it. We will not be charged the raw water intake fee. And after talking to Laura, the reason they're not charging each individual, if they do, they have to take over our whole water system, which they don't have an interest in doing that. And I don't blame them. That is in the hands of the attorneys. My only request was, we didn't do a very good job 50 years ago of protecting the town from a legal standpoint. We need to do that moving forward to make sure there cannot be any changes. I can only speak to what Luke's contract is. They cannot raise our rates without raising Luke's and Westernport's. Whatever happens to one town happens to all three towns. Me personally, for paying the same amount, I don't think it could be any more fair than that for what they're charging us. But what they're charging us is about 60% of what the residents are going to be paying the town of Piedmont. So you're going to have the income available to take care of your water system. And I think that's critical, because we have to do that. But as of right now, Todd Swanson has a copy of that, Terry Lively from Region 8, Jonathan Fowler from the IJDC. They're all looking at that. What I'm trying to do is set up a call between Paula, me, Westernport Mayor, Westernport Water Commissioner, and both attorneys. It's to the point now, I can't commit as a water commissioner to any agreement. They have to work these details out. So I am not at liberty to talk to the dollar amount as of yet, because it's still up in the air. It's still being discussed. Once it does, I've talked to Paula. We will have a town hall meeting. And my plan is to do a PowerPoint presentation to show you exactly what the costs are going to be, so that people who want to know can know, okay, here's where we're at. This is what it's going to cost Piedmont. This is what we're going to have to pay Westernport. This is their liability. This is our liability. So right now, my highest urgency is getting water in July, one way or another. So, and I don't think I mentioned the dollar amount. The minimum amount for your water bill, including sewer, if you're under 2,000 or under, is going to be $66.67. That's what it's going to calculate out with the new rates until we see what's going to happen in August and September. I think that's enough for me.
I got a question though, Greg. What are we gonna do as far as, and I'm sure you probably looked at it, the fire service, the hydrants, the swimming pool?
Well, I can tell you this, as far as, because I don't know what the fire hydrants are kind of a, you know, that's something you never know how often you're going to use it. The swimming pool, with what they was going to charge us for even potable water, we filled the pool up for $300. Kind of hard to beat.
Yeah, it is.
Raw water,
136,000 gallons.
yeah, that was their cost of the over 2,000 gallons, the per dollar cost. You take 136,000 gallons divided by 1,000, you got 136 times whatever their rate's going to be. It's kind of hard to complain if you can fill that pool up. If it's raw water, it's even cheaper. If you go by, and I won't say their exact rate, but if we was to tie into their line right now and fill that swimming pool up, it would cost us 60 cents. After that $25, you know,
Wow.
I don't know how you complain about that, but it's the same rate for Westernport, it's the same rate for the town of Luke. All the numbers have changed since the original talk started, because Westernport's in for a rate increase herself, but that's already there in what they're offering us. So it's going to be, like I said, I don't see how it can be any more fair than that if we're all paying the same amount. The fire hydrants, that's going to be a hit or miss, but if you're paying $2 for every 1,000 gallons you use, it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to break the bank.
Was there still talk about that tank you were talking about?
One of the things Westernport had talked about, putting a holding tank in Piedmont to where we would always have 100,000 gallons in reserve. We got to look at the funding to see whether that's doable. So if something would happen in Westernport and they had to shut the raw water off, that we would still have potable water or water to treat for potable water for a day or two. And that's no more risk than what they're going to take if they got a leak. They're going to shut theirs off. The only thing we got to be careful of, the raw water, we talked about paying for what we use versus paying for what comes through the line. Spent a lot of time with Eric. We've been up there going over the plant. Right now, we use about 30% of what the mill sends us, roughly. You dump the rest of it, but we don't want to pay for the water we dump. But even at that, the town of Westernport said the per 1,000 gallon cost is negotiable. If we can get that to where it's reasonable, by law, if we're taking in raw water, Eric has to be in the plant. What we did before, we would shut the water off. When the water operator left, open the dump valve, and we're back in the system. It was perfectly, you know, that was handled within the law. And now when we're paying, we may have to pay for it. We don't want to do that unless we have to. I talked to Jonathan Fowler about putting a flow meter in after the dump valve. He said, you can't afford it, trust me, because it's a 16-inch line. You're going to talk a couple $1,000s for a flow meter. I don't know when, until we get some exact commitments to people, even without a 100,000 gallon tank, We got 184,000 gallons of water that will last 3 days in Piedmont, roughly. No.
Anybody have any more questions for me? Okay. Cleanup day. Cleanup day?
Okay. I'm sure everybody probably knows that this is probably not going to happen in May, given these situation that we're in right now. I don't want to totally cancel this, but I think we're going to have to back it up. I can't even get the dumpsters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going to have to back it up. But I'm not going to say it's canceled because I don't want to cancel. We have it at a later date, so be it. I think that's fine. But I can't even get the dumpsters, which were coming from the state. So you can't do that. We can't get rid of the trash that's laying around and stuff. And we don't want people congregating anyway. So I'm saying we're put a hold on it. I can't tell you what day it will be because I don't know what's going to happen out here. But as far as the cleanup day in May, be postponed for now. We'll back it up, and I'll give a date, as we see what's going on. I want to go back, Paul. I want to go back to this estimate, because some people were concerned about this estimate. I forgot to say it when I passed those out, but I want to be clear on that no decision. Nobody's made any decision on either one of these estimates yet. Just simply getting the information out. So you had two estimates, and now you can take them home and look at them and see where we're at. But to all concerned, there is no decision made on either one. We have decided to go one way or another. We simply have to raise some money to get there. We need to raise money regardless of which way we go. So that's my plan. That's where I'm at with it. So I just wanted to be clear on that. Everybody's clear.
Paul, which one did Shear Construction need? Which estimate was
That one you have on the top.
Right, I know, but the money value,
It was $8,500.
okay. He does excellent work.
Yes.
Okay. New business. John Lust. Terry, did you fill us in?
Yes, I did talk to him, Judge Lillard, as we hired, he is the one that gave us the suggestion to call Mr. Lust, and I called him Judge Lust, whatever. But I did call him, and he made the comment that right now he is doing it for El Garden, their municipal judge. He said he would be willing to do it for Piedmont, and asked that, maybe we want to get a hold of the mayor of El Garden, because they are right now, I guess, footing the bill for him to go and get certified every year. And, he said it's between $300 and $400, but if we're willing to split the cost with El Garden, then, he would be willing to do, Piedmont and El Garden. And because they're both very part-time, I mean, we might have a case once every 6 months. And he said it would only be $50 for every time he would have to come, and hold court here in Piedmont. So that's something, that he's the only one that really Judge Lillard recommended. I don't know if there's any other, but it didn't sound like it. Not that go, like a traveling judge, I guess.
Well,
But that's all he told me.
I would need a motion for us to pursue John Lust as our new municipal judge.
I'll make a motion to contact El Garden and see if we can split the cost, and if we can do it, go ahead and hire John Lust as our municipal judge.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Anybody got anything else? I just want to add that Eric and Carrie are both doing wonderful jobs in their new positions. Carrie got city building pretty well straightened up, everything in order.
Give me a little bit longer.
And now you got to work on changing the water rate
Yeah.
for the next billing cycle.
Yes, I've heard that.
So there's nothing else to be brought to the council. The next meeting will be May 6th at 12 o'clock.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Please adjourn. All right, I'm going to show you guys, that's it right here in front of me. Next Tuesday, we have to meet in the city building for just 5 minutes to lay the levy. It's, West Virginia Code requires each entity to meet on the third Tuesday in April to officially lay the levy. This entails the hearing of objections and adoption of the levy rates to be used during the next fiscal year. And then we have to send the facts that we laid the levy. It's just looking at that budget and making sure the money we put in your different places is what it was, and accepting it, and we just send it to the auditor's office. So what time Tuesday would you like to, that says it takes 5 minutes.
As early as you can, because I gotta work Monday night.
Okay.
So I get off at 6 a.m. I know it's too early. So I don't go back out Tuesday.
I'm not unlocking the doors till 9. Well, no,
I'm
the doors
gonna
ain't
sleep
even
with the
unlocked, so.
Can I just make one little announcement, just for the heck of it? Since you were mentioning something about social media, you're saying that this is just social media. I don't know if you realize that the Mineral Daily News Tribune uses the videos to do their stories. Like last week, they had a story on the meeting. They weren't at the meeting.
Right.
So they use this. It's used for more than just social media.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to
I'm
point out
saying it
that
has its drawbacks too, just
Oh,
from me
yeah.
talking to people,
absolutely.
they're telling me, why do I want it done? I can watch it.
Well, good. I'm glad they're watching.
Yeah.
There's more people watching than ever before. It
Yeah.
used to be nobody watched, so it's all good. So
Okay.
thank you very much.